Judgment! You're watching GrapChats. And what a week it has been in professional wrestling. Welcome back. This is episode 4 of the GrapChats Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Steve Willis, and always, I am joined by Matty.
Ooh, musical this time. Come on, board. Look at you. Spread
it happens
your wings.
Every now and then. It's a rare occasion, so embrace it.
You could tell it's getting further into winter because both the Baldies have gone for beanies. Baldies and beanies all together.
So unreasonably cold here.
Yeah, you got it worse. I could clearly, I decided
keep in mind,
this is cold, but I don't need sleeves. I don't know why.
Yeah. So keep in mind, here in Australia, snow is very rare. There's only a handful of spots in the entire country where you'll see snow. There are ski resorts like an hour from my house.
Oh, really? So, I didn't know that. Really? Oh, you get proper cold.
Yeah, Falls Creek is not far away.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I don't get that. I don't get that cold. I live right next to the ocean. So if a sea breeze gets ridiculous, mine's all wind. If there's wind, it's freezing. If there's no wind, like there wasn't today, it's actually quite lovely. It's one of those ones where you could sit in the sun and still be quite nice. But as soon as you're out of the sun, you're like, why did it get so cold all of a sudden?
Yeah. Yeah. So what happens for me, because the town where I am is in a valley. So there's mountains either side. And we just get the freezing cold wind off the mountains, but we don't actually get the snow. So there's no the good part of winter where you can let your kids play in the snow. We don't have that in the town, but we just have the freezing cold wind.
I think some meteorological
makes everything suck.
I think some meteorological information to start off a wrestling podcast. This is how this is how I prefer all my wrestling podcasts to start.
Yeah.
It's the old blokes thing, right? It's like, whoa, how about that weather? Whoa.
I'll tell you what.
I will tell you what. What I will tell you about though is some news. I will tell you what. So news from this past week in wrestling. Some of it silly, some of it not. Let's start with something slightly irreverent. Mercedes Moné, the former Sasha Banks, is dating the Beast Mortos. This got leaked by TMZ put this out, which I think is hysterical. You have to go to TMZ's website and look at the photo they chose to use. It's because it's Mercedes in some red carpet shot, and then it's just a close up of the Beast Mortos in full mask.
With the mask on.
Yeah, 100%. It's so silly.
Super disrespectful to put a photo of a luchador up without their mask.
100%.
And I would fully expect TMZ to do that. So the fact that they at least got him with the mask on and didn't find a photo of him unmasked is a good touch, but still.
And look, he's very by all accounts a very, very handsome man underneath that mask. He's also very, very accomplished apparently. As far as in and out of the ring. I'm trying to find, I swear I bookmarked it, the tweet from a little while ago that talks about he's finishing up law school, and it's the funny, he tweeted about it, and it's so funny. I need to find, where is this tweet?
So I remember...
Officially, in a few months, I will be a lawyer. If you don't want to pay your ex-wife a divorce statement, call me. I'm still learning to speak, but I can help. Rawr.
I love that.
I
think it was a year and a half or 2 years ago. There were backstage promos. He was doing a lot of matches with Roddy Strong and those guys, and they were making jokes about it, saying that he's a lawyer. Oh, Frank Mortos, attorney at law. And I thought they were just joking around. That was just a thing that they decided to play. No, he's actually going to law school for real.
He's almost an actual lawyer, which is amazing.
When he's finished wrestling, he's just going to be a lawyer. I'm cool,
so
man.
I mean, look, I hope him and Mercedes have a long and fruitful relationship. We'll start with celebrity gossip. Dating news, always fun. I can't believe we forgot to mention this on any of the other podcasts, but in news for Australians specifically, the Inspiration, formerly WWE's Iconics, Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, are back in TNA after taking some time off so they could both have children, I believe. Always fantastic to see them back. They will never stop being hysterical. Fun fact is their theme song is performed by AEW and fellow Australian Harley Cameron. Nothing would make me happier than seeing the three of those together. It would be shrieky and hilarious.
Yes, it must happen at some point.
It will. Their bit of news is for an injury that comes up later on. PW Insider did say that SmackDown will be returning to 2 hours starting on July 4th. Good for you, buddy. At least the shows will be slightly shorter for you. Also, remember how last week I said that Bandito versus Mascarada Dorada would rule? Well, it happened on the CML show directly before Grand Slam Mexico, and it did. It did rule. Davey Meltzer gave it the full 5 stars. So many people are talking about how this is like Match of the Year contender. It is peak lucha. They do things I didn't know could be done. At one point, like, I think it's like someone gets launched up, comes up off the ground onto someone who sat on the turnbuckle, stands on their shoulders, drops in, then does the hurricane. Like, it's ludicrous. It's so fucking silly.
It's exactly what you want Lucha Libre to be.
It really, really is.
Yes.
So please go and check that out if you can find it. Fightful Select did report during the week that Tony Khan personally went to CMLL's owner Salvador and requested that the Beast Mordos get to perform on the show. This was the result of absences of both Cash Wheeler and Claudio Castagnoli, who I think had like travel and visa issues. The reasons for which weren't currently stated, but Mortos hadn't wrestled in Arena Mexico for 14 years, and CMLL was very accommodating in giving him another shot tonight after quite a while away. Lucha politics are insane. So yeah, it was very, very cool to get him, and like he showed out on the show. He got huge ovation and pops, which was fantastic. Like all the winning this week apparently for the Beast Mortos. Fightful Select also said that Jordan Grace's WWE entrance theme was changed because the sirens were considered to be too similar to Braun Breaker's music. Because that's what I think when I see an NXT women's match. Here comes Braun. One other factor behind the change was apparently that Grace owns the theme she was using, and WWE have been adamant that owning the music is that they own the music that they use. Def Rebel sucks. That's essentially the news there. Bodyslam.net has... Yes, they do. Bodyslam.net learned through sources in WWE that they had discussions regarding adding more members to Seth Rollins' group down the line. Among the names that are being pitched are NXT North American Champion Ethan Page and the former North American Champion Ricky Saints. Either of those guys, honestly. Like, there's no bad chance.
Surprised that Ethan Page is still in NXT, to be honest.
Same.
Like because he's got... Like, he was ready for TV right from the jump.
Yep.
So... for him to be in NXT for that long, I was like, why? Like, I was expecting him to just have a short run and then they'd just rush him straight in to Raw or SmackDown, because that makes sense, given how good on camera he is.
I guess they're just figuring out where the spot he'll land as far as things go at the minute. Also, so where did you figure that you'd see Bryan Danielson come back? Did you figure it would be in Mexico? Did you figure it would be on an ROH show helping out his idol Blue Panther beat up Lee Moriarty who was cheating? You did? Phenomenal. You nailed it. That happened this week. The bad guys were beating up Blue Panther, and Bryan Danielson came out for the love of the game. The Arena Mexico went absolutely ridiculous at this ROH show. Worth noting is that Bryan did hit the Busaiku knee, which means he took a full back bump in order to do so. I want to believe so bad that All In will give us your like Avengers moment against Mox and the Death Riders, and that it will include both Bryan and Eddie Kingston if the world is just and fair. So one can only hope. AEW Dynamite Grand Slam Mexico apparently did really, really big demo numbers for viewing, their best since early 2024. I don't care about the demographic, but if you do, there you go. Apparently the paid attendance was 14,000 people for Arena Mexico, which drew more than AAA's Triple Mania just a couple weeks before, which did 12,000. Again, I don't really give a shit about how many people see a show as long as everyone likes the show, but if you do, there you go. Apparently, Wrestling Observer Newsletter, Big Davey Meltzer, reported the decision was made, when the decision was made to put the title on Jey Uso, it was already planned that it would be a short reign and he would lose it back to Gunther. That seems silly.
But given how much they've put into him and how much he was getting out of the fans, you'd think they'd at least let him ride it out to SummerSlam.
Yes.
You would think.
You'd think so. Final bit of backstaging news. Sean Ross Sapp has reported that Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné has always been the plan for All In ever since 2024 and was not affected by Mariah May's departure, despite what was reported from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. They were saying that it was originally going to be Mercedes versus Athena and Toni versus Mariah before she left. AEW sources have said while Mercedes has been open to losing to talent, it has never even been broached as of yet. So she is not booking herself to never lose. She's a very big star. She's very, very talented. She's pretty much had nothing but fairly good matches for over a decade. So the companies want her to win and be big star. And that makes sense.
and all undefeated streaks must eventually end.
It's weird because I feel like Mercedes gets so much slack, like she did when she was Sasha Banks, and she still does now as Mercedes. It's just like she believes her own hype, and she's not all that. It's like she's been great forever, like
for
since
a long time.
NXT.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a decade plus. So like, just give the devil her due. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just allow it.
She is that good.
She's that damn good. Yeah,
so that's why I'm
good.
super hyped for her. Against Toni, and honestly, I don't know who's going to win.
And the build's been fun
and that's
too.
The good part. Like, wrestling's good when it's not entirely predictable.
Absolutely. But that is all of the news. So we may as well recap the shows in order for once. Thank God there isn't a giant AEW singular show this week. There was technically more of it, but it's split, which makes my life easier.
Yes.
So
let's jump straight into the part of the show where we tell Matty's Nan exactly what happened on Monday Night Raw.
She does. She doesn't get to keep up with it. She would love to know.
Right. Well, here we go. Matty's Nan. All right. So Raw starts with a promo from Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. They were kind of building something towards Liv and Nikki Bella. Which may or may not happen, but we'll talk about that later. So claiming that Nikki doesn't belong in the ring anymore, and Liv wants the women's world title back, so she calls out Io Sky. Io, being babyface champion, more than willing to fight Liv Morgan for the title. Liv did the heel thing, kind of classic heel stuff, expecting Io to just hand over the title. So Leo beats her up and head kicks Dominic. And that looked really cool. Which brings us straight into the Queen of the Ring. Might be the last one. The last Queen of the Ring first round 4-way match. We've got Stephanie Vaquer, Asuka, Ivy Nile, and Raquel Rodriguez. Asuka and Stephanie Vaquer teamed up early in the match. They sort of started off. It's more of the, like, we've seen it before and it's still cool. Then Stephanie Vaquer targets Asuka's knee because she's had the big knee brace on the whole time since coming back from injury. Raquel just instantly got a ton of heel heat from the crowd by breaking up the Devil's Kiss. The crowd still super excited for this move. She ended up taking the move on the ring apron, which is a cool
it is cool that it's slowly being used differently, where you like the ladder one and the apron, and it's cool it's getting it's moving around.
Yeah. They did almost a Tower of Doom spot. It was, meant to be showing off Raquel's ridiculous strength. So she had Vaquer and Ivy Nile on her shoulders at the same time. So okay. Just brain no worky sometimes.
Wires crossed, yeah.
So she's got two women on her shoulders because she's that freakishly strong. Did you mention she has a very muscular back?
She has a back, and it's large.
Yes, it's quite muscular. And then Asuka missile drop kicking them both off the shoulders. It looked really sick. It was like a cross between a Doomsday device and a Tower of Doom spot, and a kind of an electric chair as well. So the finish of the match looked really, really cool. We had Raquel hitting Stephanie Vaquer with the Tahana bomb. Rhea runs in, pulls out Raquel, and hits Riptide on the floor. Oh, God, that looked bad. It looks bad when it happens on the floor.
Yeah.
Because the mats on the floor are not thick.
Yeah.
They are not. Throws Raquel back in the ring, and Asuka has hit a new finish. She calls it the Empress Impact, and the only way you can really describe it is like a flying ass smash.
It's the rear view that Naomi used to do.
Yeah, Naomi except that was more catching them running, whereas like the Empress Impact is just sort of the opponent is just seated in the middle of the ring.
I don't know if I like it.
Runs in off the ropes and whack with the old ass end. Yeah.
I don't know if I like it.
Asuka has better looking finishes.
Yeah, like when she just used to kick people in the head, that worked. Like the Asuka lock worked. Like
Asuka lock was great.
But she wants a new, like, sure, may as
the
well.
Asuka lock looks different now. Because it used to be like a chicken wing choke.
It used to almost be like when Samoa Joe would choke out a motherfucker. What was it? Like what do they call it? I forget the name of the choke off the top of my head. But yeah, like it used to look like a gnarly re-naked choke.
Yeah, but now it's basically kind of double hammerlock looking thing. It's different, but I guess it can still get the job done.
True.
But yeah, this flying ass smash just looks very strange. Like it shouldn't be a finisher. Like it'd be a good setup move. But you never know. It might grow on us. We have an in-ring promo from Gunther. Comes in with the World Heavyweight title and a ton of pyro, which is not what you expect for Gunther. He's always been very sort of minimalist, keep it simple kind of guy, but now he's coming out with the championship and heaps of pyro. He does show respect to Jey Uso. He addresses his WrestleMania loss to Jey. I guess an ongoing theme you'll see a lot is respect. We see a lot of wrestlers showing each other respect during this show and through SmackDown as well. So Gunther dismisses all the rumors of a Goldberg match and sort of tries to focus on Seth Rollins since he's holding Money in the Bank and challenges him to show up at Night of Champions and cash in and have a match with him. And of course, that means enter Goldberg.
Yep.
He's wearing a t-shirt that says Goldberg's Last Ride. So, okay, cool. Like, cool. It's a retire. He didn't flat out say it'll be his retirement match, but that's heavily implied.
Yep.
At this point. Now, he reminds Gunther of the disrespectful actions that he took towards Goldberg and his family last time they were in Atlanta. And vows to end their issue in Atlanta at Saturday night's main event and challenges him to a world title match. And it just gets approved and it's a match now. So Goldberg comes in, loses, goes away for ages, comes back and is immediately the number one contender for the World Heavyweight title. Make it make sense.
Look, I'm sure there's a way to make it make sense. I don't like it. I decided to rewatch him and The Undertaker's match for 2019. Remember that one?
That with the headlandings.
That was 6 years ago.
Oh my dear God, we're old.
Yeah, but like somehow he's still got one more in him. I don't know, man. I hope it's good and everyone stays safe. Yeah, that's the main thing we can hope for. I mean, with Goldberg, it's like I like when wrestlers retire and are able to sort of do it on their own terms and say, right, this is my last match, or my last match will be on this day, and then it happens, and the fans get to say goodbye, and that I like. So I hope this is happening for Goldberg, because in so many cases where a wrestler retires, it's because something has happened and it's beyond their control, and that really sucks for them and for the fans. So, yeah, it's good. I hope this is like Goldberg says, this will be my last match, whether I win or lose. And, all right, cool. Let's go have a title match with Gunther. And they will likely beat the dog shit out of each other.
there is that to kind of look forward to.
I don't think he could really beat up Goldberg that much.
Yeah.
Don't
but
think
if there's
that'll be
someone
okay.
that can, it's Gunther.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't know. We'll see what happens, I suppose.
Yeah. But I keep thinking as well, like, remember the match that he had with Brock? And
yeah,
it was
different.
It was a 5-minute car crash, and that's the perfect match for those two guys.
Yeah. This is the same for this, but I feel like Gunther doesn't have the equity with Goldberg that Brock has. So I don't think Goldberg's gonna approve of getting like whipped like a government mule. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's gonna be for it. So
yeah, and Gunther being a technical wizard is kind of antithetical to Goldberg's whole style.
Yeah. Again, we'll just have to see how it happens at some point. I won't be watching another day.
Next thing we have is Bayley. She's shown walking, like doing the backstage walk to the ring shot. And walks past Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, and the New Day. Another big
Pimpin'.
Oh, and he looked like Silky Johnson on his way to the Player Haters Ball.
Xavier Woods in this shot is just doing the most.
Yeah,
the most. It's great. Most. You should go. This segment's worth it purely for that. Purely for that. Nothing
There's
else.
a reason him and Kenny are such good friends.
Giant hams.
So we get an in-ring promo from Bayley, cutting a babyface promo on Becky Lynch for taking her out right before Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that she gives 100% for every show, not just WrestleMania, calls out Becky Lynch. Becky claims that nobody cared that Bayley got left off WrestleMania, which is harsh as shit. But okay, sure. I can see where they're going with that. And agrees to a non-title match. So that's what we're getting coming up. It will probably be a multi-match program, so cool. That's sort of on the way. Next is one of those unfortunate things that sometimes happens in wrestling. We have Kairi Sane versus Liv Morgan. It's very upsetting, really, because right at the very top of the match, they're doing a bit of chain wrestling right at the top. Kairi shoots in for a takedown. It didn't look like an ugly sort of movement. It was a pretty normal looking takedown, and Liv takes a fairly normal looking front bump and just landed wrong. She had her hands down but didn't have her arms locked. Like, this was not the motion that she did. Her hands were bent, like arms were bent. Everything looked fine, but it just landed wrong. Liv's shoulder went pop. You would take a guess and say it's a dislocation, and I don't know how long Liv is going to be out.
I have a little bit on that. Bodyslam.net has learned that Liv Morgan is expected to be out of action with this injury for about 6 months, and it will require surgery to reattach.
Poor Liv.
So key in so many stories too. Like, for someone in the women's division in WWE to not have a world title and be involved in so many stories is a rarity. And she has been an absolute bomb. So goddamn good for the last year and some change. Absolutely running it. So
key utility player for the company.
Headline player, man. It's just it just sucks.
It sucks. It's really
all those freak things that happen.
So get well soon to Liv Morgan. We have a backstage promo from Sami Zayn talking about his excitement to have a semi-final match against Randy Orton on SmackDown. Karrion Kross interrupts and questions Sami's sanity for expecting to win against Orton. And Sami, with a very good comeback, questioning Karrion Kross's courage, given how little Kross has been actually competing on TV. I'm not really looking for competition, and Sami just flat out said once he's finished with King of the Ring, he's coming after Karrion Kross. So they're finally going to actually do something with this food that's sort of been bubbling and simmering for a while, and now it's going to happen, which is cool.
Finally.
Our main event, King of the Ring, the final King of the Ring first round 4-way. You've got Jey Uso you've got Bronson Reed, Sheamus, and Rusev. One of these things is not like the others. So yes, how will Jey Uso survive all of the meatiness? Because there's just so much meat in the ring right now. It's a lot of big meaty men slapping meat. So Jey Uso, early in the match, hits a spear on Bronson Reed, goes to the top rope. Bron Breakker interferes, throws him off. Sammy runs in, beats up Bron Breakker, gets thrown over the announce table. Penta runs in, does a dive onto Breakker. There's so much happening in the background, and like we expect it to be a car crash because it's a 4-way and that's how they are. But now we've had like 3 people running in. Bronson Reed hit a sick-looking Death Valley driver onto Jey Uso. It looked rough.
Yeah, it's great.
Reed goes up top, gets thrown off by LA Knight, so there's run-in number 4. Jey hits a spear and 2 Uso splashes off the top rope onto Bronson Reed to win. Seth Rollins runs in post-match, so there's run-in number 5. Cody comes down to stop Seth, so there's run-in number 6.
Good Lord.
Cody and Seth don't touch. Seth just backs away, walks off, does not want to engage with Cody. Next week, they've announced Cody versus Jey Uso in the King of the Ring semi-finals, and the big stare down. The big stare down to close the show.
I mean, that's cool. Like, the idea is that they they won tag titles together and they're friends and all these kind of things, and then you have them versus each other. Like, I get that. It's still insane that he was like the mystery participant added to this match, and it was all this beef, and then that's who won somehow. Like, when you have all these new people, you could be kind of moving forward. But like, I guess they're still in the midst of this kind of story, so like, it's fine. But
when you bring
it's
in
not
a wild
inspired.
card, when you bring in a wild card into a tournament, like it's normal for them to win their first
and you
round
want
match
like you
least.
want like a new you want like a new signee or
that
someone
was
who's
the
coming
time
back from
for
injury.
Mr. Iguana. Mr. Iguana was the guy.
Or that's the time for like Karrion Kross, who everyone's gone ballistic for. If Ilya Dragunov is free to come back from injury, putting Ilya in that match would have been amazing. So like, I don't know, but look, it's not. Look, again, he's beloved, and the crowd has a lot of fun with Jey Uso out there, so that's fine. It's just like I said, it's just not for me, but it is clearly for a great many people who are having a great time with it.
Yeah. And that is all for Monday Night Raw. So,
you know what is for me? You know what is for me though? You know what is for me though was AEW Dynamite Grand Slam from Mexico, which opens with my favorite boy, the bestest boy, Hangman Adam Page comes out to cut the opening promo. Good God. All right. I didn't know.
Hangman en Español.
I didn't know. I don't know how this man keeps making me more gay. He makes me more gay. God, it's just, he was already beautiful and like tortured soul. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and like all of the Southern goodness. And then he decides to come out into Arena Mexico and cut the opening 5-minute promo in full Spanish to the crowd.
Hangman en Español.
The full promo is as follows. Hi, my name is Hangman, and I want to apologize for my Spanish because it's not the best, but it's a little better than many gringos, so I will try. When I was young, my family had a tobacco farm, and every summer, like 6 men would come from Ruiz Nayarit to work and goes through all of their names. I believe he said 3 of them were named Miguel. Every year I worked with them, and they taught me about Mexico. They were hard workers, honest, cared for their families. They taught me that we are all better when we work together. This is why I want to say thank you. Thank you for having us in your house tonight. Thanks for this collaboration between AEW and CMLL, because when we work together, we can change the world. Now I will talk about our champion, Jon Moxley. I'm sorry to say that I don't have a match tonight, and I'm not allowed to be in the arena during his match. But nobody said anything about after the match, so after that, I will beat his ass. Until then, thank you everyone here in Arena Mexico, and I'll see you soon. Oh, one, so hot. Two, like the crowd went absolutely ballistic. The idea that this is like you have your big kind of babyface contender come out and cut the full promo in Spanish. Really, really like heartwarming thing to see. Really, really wonderful. God, what a beautiful man. Our opening match of the show is the first of two get everyone in the goddamn pool matches. It was a 12-man tag, but Tony decided that wasn't enough. So it is a 14-man tag match with Dax Harwood, Vallejo Jr., the Don Callis family of Konosuke Takeshita, Carl Fletcher, Lance Archer, Josh Alexander, and Hechicero versus TNT champion Adam Cole, Brody King, ROH champion Bandito, Daniel Garcia, Atlantis Jr., and Templario. One, the Don Callis family came out, look amazing. Two, Brody King in the Abolish Ice shirt for his entrance. Tremendous. Three, Bandito came out looking like a goddamn stud in this match. He was so over. He was so beloved. I think later in that week, he actually pinned Mystico in a match as well, and they're going to run that back soon. I hope so much that that AEW and ROH know what they have in their hands with Bandito, because he is really, really getting over, which is fantastic. The other one is all the people in Mexico boo Atlantis Jr., which was really jarring at the time. And I'm like, why? So I had to look into it. Apparently everyone just thinks he's like a Nepo hire and no good. So they boo the shit out of him, which was just took me a second and I needed to understand. But yeah, this is peak. Everybody get it done. Brody King at one point hits a Death Valley driver on Josh Alexander on the apron. It apparently big guys doing Death Valley drivers is in vogue this week because good lord, it is
some beefy boys dropping some other equally beefy boys on their heads on the apron.
Absolutely. This ended with our face team with Atlantis Senior getting the roll up on Dax Harwood, and then you have kind of frustrations happening, but the faces end up standing tall and they back them all down. Next up was Mark Briscoe versus Kazuchika Okada, our Continental Champion. It was pretty damn good match. I mean, like, Mark Briscoe is always fun. Okada is still the goddamn man. Gets a giant hero's entrance. They do have this one spot I liked in the middle of the match, which was ridiculous, where, like, Okada does, like, his taunt and does the middle finger. And then Mark Briscoe goes and bites it. But because Mark Briscoe has no front teeth, it doesn't do anything. So then he moves it to the side of his mouth and bites it again. And then it gets the big reaction from Okada. I like that. I thought that was silly. You both get a lot of like counters towards the end. A typical Okada match that kind of builds this finale of like counter to counter to counter to counter to counter. Eventually you get this kind of reversal where Okada hits that tombstone pile driver, hits the big rainmaker, gets the 1-2-3. After the match, Okada and Don Callis start like beating up Mark Briscoe again, kind of brutalizing him with the belt, kind of saying this is what we're going to do to Kenny Omega. Come all in. Next up was MJF in his full American hero shtick back when he had the international title and turned it into the American Championship. Comes out, he has the MVP tribute gear, but red, white, and blue. He's got the flag, he's got the streamers. He comes out like booed to the high heavens, comes out with the Hurt Syndicate. Then Mystico comes out to Mi Muero, I believe is the name of the song. It's amazing. Go and find the entrance on like social media, the full entrance. Like the crowd sings his full song, like the whole thing, the whole way through. That man is like beloved in Mexico. It's amazing.
It reminded me of the Adam Copeland in Brisbane moment.
Yeah, it is very much like that. Yes. Yeah, very much like that. It was crazy. Despite all of MJF's kind of cheating and different bits and pieces that he used, he cannot put Mystico away. You know, powered on by this crowd. He keeps kicking out. Evie takes like that kind of jumping DDT on like the rampway, still makes it back in, hits like an insane Spanish fly from the top rope, just like picture perfect. It gets more and more frustrated to the point where MJF can't take it anymore. Gets a deliberate low blow in front of the referee. Gets the disqualification. At the end after this, MJF rips off Mystico's mask and like puts it on to like taunt the crowd to get just like absolutely all the heat in the universe. Until you have the heroes kind of come out to save them. You Bandito, Templario, Kevin Knight, and Speedball Mike Bailey come out and clear the ring as well, driving away the Hurt Syndicate. It seems like we're still building towards Kevin Knight and Speedball versus the Hurt Syndicate at some point, which will be fun. And next up was the 4 million peso high-flying four-way match between Ricochet, Hologram, Leo Rush, and Mascarada Dorada. I think it was an excuse just to have more flips, which is never a bad thing. Ricochet, still super beloved in Mexico. I think all of his legacy of what he did as far as independence and wrestling in Mexico, and even obviously as Prince Puma and Lucha Underground is still known. But this is just 10 or so minutes of all gas, all action. It's absolutely gnarly. Hologram actually ends up getting the win on this one. He hits the portal bomb on Leo Rush for the victory, which was pretty goddamn awesome. Big pops for him in Arena Mexico, which was great. The CMLL Women's World Championship match is up next between the champion Zeuxis and Mercedes Moné. Zeuxis is surprisingly like hard hitting for like, I don't know if I expected more like lucha, I guess. Nope. She just hits you real goddamn hard. Like, she hit this crazy looking lung blower. She hit another great, like a lot of great Spanish flyers in this one. It was again a little bit more. She had this like crazy like top rope like power slam on Mercedes that looked like death.
Would you say she's more of a Roosh style luchador than a Rey Mysterio style luchador?
Yeah, kind of. Kind of. But then
just smack the crap out of you.
But then we did get a reversal in the end, and from a top rope move, and then Mercedes getting the 3 count. She is now the CMLL Women's World Champion as well. She has 6 belts now. 6 belts, Mercedes. She has now won belts in USA, UK, Europe, Japan, and Mexico. And she also becomes the first women's wrestler to ever compete in Madison Square Garden, Wembley Stadium, the Tokyo Dome, and Arena Mexico. Which is pretty goddamn awesome. So, like, props to Mercedes on that one. After the match, you get this kind of, like, cinematic vignette of, like, Toni Storm dressed as Carmen Sandiego for other old people who remember this one. Talking about her kind of intense disdain for Mercedes. Suddenly, kind of Mina Shirakawa appears at the top of the ramp, which distracts Mercedes, and then Toni Storm kind of emerges behind her and, like, strips off the red Carmen Sandiego hat, still wearing the long coat, and hits this big German suplex on Mercedes, and all the belts go flying all over the place. And she kind of stands tall at the end of that interaction, which was very, very fun. The main event of the evening is the other all-person clusterfuck of a match. It is the AEW World Champion Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, the Beast Mortos, who is standing in for Claudio Castagnoli, and the Young Bucks versus Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland, and the Ops, the World Trios Champions, Samoa Joe, Will Hobbs, and Katsuyori Shibata. Again, this is ludicrous. Everyone gets a hero's ovation. Swerve and Ospreay are super over. Samoa Joe is super over. This crowd is so... The pop he gets just when he tags in is amazing. Like...
They love Joe.
God, this crowd is so goddamn good. But it's just... It's all kind of madness. The close of this match comes with Marina Shafir distracting the referee. Mox gets this kind of unfair advantage with the briefcase. He rolls up Swerve Strickland with a handful of heights to kind of get the win for that one. In the kind of chaos afterwards, Moxley and the Bucks are kind of continuing the assault on Strickland, kind of isolating him while everyone else is cleared to the outside. And who would make the save for Swerve Strickland? then Hangman Adam Page. It is, the music hits, the crowd goes ballistic. There's this wonderful shot where everyone's cleared out of the ring, and it's just Mox kind of knelt in the middle of it, and it like pans back, and you just see like Hangman standing at the top of the stage with like the fire of his Tron, and it's this wonderful shot. And he comes down, he starts laying it in, they start punching back and forth. He goes to the outside for the buckshot lariat, but Mox kind of ducks it, and he accidentally nails one of the Young Bucks, who had come back into the ring. And at that, it's kind of like him pulled out, and he's telling them, like, I told you not to interfere. I told you not to interfere. You kind of get this, bits of tension with Hangman at the end, kind of standing tall to close out a ridiculously fun show. Yeah, it was a very, very good time. I love that it was kind of like bookended by Hangman on either side, as well as these big, ludicrous multi-man matches. You got they kind of let Lucha Libre and kind of Mexican wrestling really shine throughout all of it. And I think it was this wonderful collaboration of the two kind of styles of wrestling. So also, God, that crowd is so good. I can't say enough.
They were red hot.
Us in Brisbane and Arena Mexico have to be like the two best crowds they've had all year. Like, they should just go back and forth between us and Mexico, because God, it's so much worse. It looked so good on TV. They sounded so good. It was amazing. So I hope it's not a long time before they're back in Arena Mexico, because God, that was a great show.
The crowd's worth it. They were so red hot.
So much fun. So much fun. Anyway, next show of the week was Smackers.
That would be Friday Night SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the theme of respect keeps going from Raw through to SmackDown. So we start off an in-ring promo from LA Knight, recapping sort of the interactions that he's had with Rollins and co. They've cost each other money, King of the Ring spots, and he just calls out Seth Rollins, said, let's just end it now. Come out, Seth, let's do this. Heyman enters, heaps a lot of praise on LA Knight. Again, respect. A lot of respectful interactions. But being Heyman, it's a respectful interaction, but he's also threatening LA Knight and said something bad will happen to you if you don't leave the building immediately. And Heyman says, Knight just basically responds with, well, how about I just fight you then? Heyman leaves the ring, and his two Bronnies come down to beat up LA Knight.
Come down to do what?
Beat up!
Hey!
Beat up!
This is gimmick infringement, okay? Unbelievable from you.
Oh, shit.
Unbelievable. You gotta leave the fawning over the men to me, okay? This is Happy Pride Month.
I'll stay in my lane now, okay.
Goddamn right.
LA Knight comes back in with a chair. Cut to backstage. Bron Breakker. Byron Saxton goes to interview him, and he just barks. There was no actual words, just barking.
So
like
he's just an attack dog, like an actual dog?
I think that's the case now, but he wears a nice suit. He wears an all-black suit, barking like a dog, as one does. They announce Bronson Reed versus LA Knight for later in the show. Everyone's happy about that, I think, because those two have great matches. A Queen of the Ring semi-final match. Now, Alexa Bliss versus Asuka. Pretty short match, but a lot of back and forth in it. Both got, good time to shine. There was a kind of clunky spot in the middle of the match, but it wasn't the wrestler's fault. I'd say just how the spot was shot. So Alexa's on the top rope. Sort of looks like she's going to go for Twisted Bliss, but being way too early in the match, Asuka was going to move, and she kind of fakes her out. Does the fake out thing, but because only Alexa Bliss was in the shot, you can't actually see if Asuka's moving or not. You just have to sort of guess that that's what happened based on how Alexa Bliss is reacting.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah, and
we blame the producers.
Yeah, the producers or the cameraman. But it was still a good match. So Alexa Bliss goes for Twisted Bliss again later in the match, and Asuka gets the knees up, and immediately goes back to the good old flying ass smash to win. The finish still looks as clunky as it did last time.
Yeah, it's not growing on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another weird and awkward interaction. We have Kit Wilson versus Aleister Black. So Aleister Black is making his entrance, and Ron Killings just randomly runs in from the crowd, jumps in the ring, and starts beating up Kit Wilson, and puts him in the STF. Grabs a mic, calls out John Cena, and a whole heap of referees and agents come down to restrain Truth, and he walks to the back. So clearly we're not over between Killings and Cena, although they do have a match later in the show, but I still don't know if that's going to be the end of it. So we get a promo from Cody Rhodes. A cool little touch, I think, was before Cody even gets a single word out, Jey Uso's music hits. Like, we knew the promo was going to be between those two because they've got a King of the Ring match. But yeah, Cody doesn't say a single word. Jay's music hits. He makes his entrance. Again, respect is the theme going through. So, both of them show great respect to each other ahead of their King of the Ring semi-final. Sami Zayn enters, puts over Cody and Jay, and says to Cody that it's his time to finish his story. Then Randy Orton enters, again, addresses them all very respectfully, puts them all over, but says that he's going to win King of the Ring and beat John Cena for the title at SummerSlam. And the match is on between Randy Orton and Sami Zayn. Started very strong. Sammy's speed kind of overcoming Randy's power and strength because he is the beefiest of boys now. I think that in the story they were telling, Randy Orton's viciousness was what gave him the edge over Sami Zayn. Both of them gave each other back suplexes onto the commentary table. Randy shows a lot more viciousness. Sammy shows a lot more heart. A lot of reversing each other's finishes. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. RKO, bang, done. Randy Orton is going on to the finals of King of the Ring. Which is cool because we might end up with Randy versus Cody. That's a distinct possibility.
Seems like it, but we shall see.
We get an in-ring promo from Nia Jax, cutting a promo specifically on Tiffany Stratton, claiming she gave Tiffany every opportunity in her career before she betrayed her by cashing in. So they're circling back to the story they were telling when Nia was the champion. Tiffany enters, essentially just tells Nia to get over it. Nia challenges Tiffy. She accepts under the basis that they make it a last woman standing match.
Ooh.
So that could be something cool, nice and different. You don't see those very often, especially in the women's division. They brawl. Nia beats up Tiffy. Naomi attempts a cash in on Tiffany Stratton while she's laid out in the ring, and Nia Jax just blocks it. A great video package hyping up CM Punk and John Cena. Weird little edit that they've clearly made because they show a little clip of the pipe bomb promo, but cutting the name Vince McMahon out.
Makes sense.
So makes sense, but I didn't realize it until you saw it and you go, oh, yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. The only thing you're good at is kissing ass.
It was like a fairly obvious one. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Because you can tell that they've cut it and go, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Chelsea Green versus Charlotte Flair. The match I didn't realize would actually be pretty good. And you look at it and go, well, yeah, they're both good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, both of these women are really good at what they do. So Chelsea gets the upper hand early with a lot of interference. Charlotte fights back, wins with the figure eight. It's a fairly quick match, but still quite good. Piper Niven jumps Charlotte Flair after the bell. So she has Chelsea in the figure eight, and Piper just comes in and drops like a senton on Charlotte while she still has a submission locked in. It looked brutal. It looked brutal. Like, oh, there goes a couple of Charlotte's ribs. Like, Alexa Bliss runs in to make the save, but Charlotte clearly doesn't want any particular help from Alexa Bliss, so sort of furthering their story a bit. Now, last week we had this. This was announced. Solo was going to call out Jacob Fatu. He comes down to the ring for a promo and just reiterates everything that he's done for Jacob. And, you know, he was demanding to hear "I love you" Solo from Jacob. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he comes out with "I love you, Jacob." So clearly he's trying to sort of patch that, make that family, you know, whole again. Jacob sees straight through it, accuses Solo of using him and claiming that the problem between them is the United States title and suggesting that they should fight for it. Makes sense. So Solo attempts to blindside Spike Jacob, and Jacob blocks it, hits a very rough-looking headbutt, and JC runs in and takes out Jacob at the knees. Then Solo and JC Mateo beat down Jacob until Jimmy Uso runs in to make the save. So we've got another... It's all about them
bloodlines splintering off again.
More Fatus fighting. Okay, this was good. LA Knight versus Bronson Reed. LA Knight sneaks in through the crowd, jumps Braun Breaker at ringside, and the match sort of started from there. LA Knight controlling the match very early, having answers for all of Bronson Reed's power moves. Distractions again from Braun Breaker let Bronson get a lot of offense in. So LA Knight can sort of block or knocks Braun Breaker off the apron. And this is something I like seeing when like a wrestler knows that they're about to get jumped from behind and they can sort of predict it and get out the way. That's sort of the experience advantage of LA Knight. And Braun Breaker then comes back in the ring and just spears LA Knight for the DQ. Post-match beatdown, LA Knight gets speared and tsunami'd multiple times and gets carried off. Which brings us to the main event. Oh, John Cena and Ron Killings. Now, Killings gets the offense early. And they've done that weird thing where like they go to an ad break and they come back from the ad break and the other person's got the upper hand now.
Yeah, of course.
Truth fights back. Cena tries to just leave with the belt. Truth chases him. Chases him down the ramp, and Cena just turns around and whacks him with the belt, and there's another DQ. CM Punk runs in, brawls with Cena. Punk grabs the belt and tries to hit Cena. Cena sees it coming and just kicks him with the ball, kicks him in the balls, and then hits him with the belt. Then, here we go again. John Cena pulls out the Slim Jim folding table.
Slim Jim table!
And gives him an AA through the Slim Jim folding table.
Yep.
And, he cut a promo after that. And it's getting a lot of mixed reviews about the promo. Some people love it, some people hate it. What do you think, Matty?
Look, John Cena's not going to cut a bad promo because he's been far too good for far too long. It's never really going to be bad. It's like he's not going to. You're not going to go like that sucked. Like he hit all the notes that you thought someone who was doing a full homage to the pipe bomb from 14 years ago would do. It's laid out exactly the same, right down to being put through a table, right down to being a match between John Cena and R-Truth. The same match happened 14 years ago. All he needed was a Stone Cold shirt and you'd be there. It doesn't land for me. And I don't think, because the pipe bomb at the time when the first one happened was this like shocking thing because Punk was very much legitimately on the way out of the company until he wasn't. So he got told he could go and say whatever he wanted and seemingly said whatever he damn well pleased because like consequences kind of be damned. It didn't really matter because he thought he was leaving regardless. And this doesn't have that same effect. It lives in this weird realm where it's trying to be this like edgy, shocking shoot promo, but he can't say any of the actually edgy or shocking things because it would either upset Punk or WWE, so he can't actually do it. The way I kind of fell on this, I was talking to a mate about this actually, and I said something that I liked, and I've kept it for this. Is that John Cena is essentially still inside the lines. He's much closer to them. He got way closer to them, but he never at any point stepped outside of the line, all the way down to saying like mother fudger at the end and then walking off and then coming back to say something and then walk. Like it just, it doesn't land like it should. If you're going to do this kind of like shocking shoot promo, especially in how much everyone knows now of the kind of behind the scenes of things, then it needs to be like the fact that like either a Hangman, a Jack Perry, or a Young Bucks weren't mentioned. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to talk about Punk being hypocritical.
Hey, Colt Cabana, how you doing?
Colt Cabana didn't come up. Yeah, if you're not going to mention, you know, storming out of Wembley Arena, like all these things that you can do. Yeah, it didn't, like, it's not a bad promo. Again, John will never give you a bad promo, but it didn't land the way it should for me.
Cena can't play off CM Punk because he is so far removed from who Punk is. They're such vastly different people that they can't pretend to be each other. And
he's also going to turn himself face. He gets so cheered while doing it. Like he's going to turn himself, like no one wants to boo him already. But, like, he's going to turn himself more face. Like,
yeah. Because I'm working under the assumption he'll go back to babyface before the end of the year. I mean, he has to. It's John Cena.
Probably.
So, but yeah, that there's still a lot of story to be told before that happens.
Yeah. Again, like I said, that's just my bit. Did you feel similarly, or did you like it more? Did you not like where'd you land?
I liked what they were trying to do, but I don't think it was the right action to take, no. For the same reasons you outlined. Like, they're not the same person that can cut the same promo. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but when you try to mix it together when they're not meant to mix, they're oil and water.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We're pretty much on the same page there.
Good way to put it.
Yeah. And that wraps up Smackers.
Well, okay. So for a show, much less dramatic, sort of, is AEW Collision, which is usually kind of like, we're going to have a bunch of matches. It's going to be really fun. It's usually it feels like a very fast 2 hours of wrestling. You got a promo at the start that was Stokely Hathaway and FTR talking about how embarrassing their loss was. We're going to do better this time. They're teaming up with Proto Shida, which is Carl Fletcher, and Konosuke Takeshita. So we'll see that later. The first match up is Jon Moxley versus AR Fox. I love that AR Fox is getting some shine on some of these shows. Despite never like winning big matches, he goes out there, he's getting himself over as hell. AR Fox starts the match super, super fast. And then at one point, he goes for this top rope move, and Mox just punches him out of the sky. It looks brutal. Like, just decked him one. He hit, at one point, Mox hit like a head and arm choke top rope superplex, which looked awesome. You get a little bit of AR Fox mounting the comeback. But then he takes a second too long. Mox lands the Gotch-style pile driver. Bunch of like vicious ground strokes, locks in a choke, and gets the kind of submission victory. Afterwards, gets on the microphone to run down Hangman. Says, I've been watching this guy piss away his opportunities for years. I've been watching this guy piss away his God-given gift for years. I'm going to run Hangman out of this sport for good, which was very, very fun. Little bit of promoing from there. You get some backstage bits with Adam Cole as well, brimming with his excitement. He is going to be in that aforementioned 8-man tag. It is Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Bandito, and Daniel Garcia, and they're all going to get together, and that match is up next. It is fast and furious and ridiculous. It is the classic, hey, we got a bunch of people in a crazy tag match. They're all going to be hitting crazy, crazy moves. I mean, look, there's not a single bad wrestler amongst the bunch of Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Bandito, Daniel Garcia, FTR, and then Carl Fletcher and Takeshita. There's no bad time to be had here. It is absolutely ridiculousness from top to bottom. But in the end, you get Roderick Strong falling victim to the Shadow Machine, which gets the pinfall from them. They start kind of, the heels start beating down the faces afterwards. They look like they're setting up to beat down Bandito specifically for like the big spike pile driver type thing. And then the Outrunners sprint down to help their friend Bandito out, which I think is fantastic, and kind of run them away. Even though it looked like they had this moment of like FTR and the Outrunners used to be like teaming up every once in a while, so they were like sad to do so. There is a small promo backstage afterwards with the participants of the All-Star 8 women's tag match, which is you have Ty Mello and Anna Jay. Then you also have Thekla, you have Queen Aminata, you have Thunder Rosa, Athena is in that one, as well as Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. So they kind of discuss what is going to be happening coming up. It is also fantastic to see Athena back on AEW television. Please keep the Forever Champion there for as long as, well, for forever. Swerve Strickland versus Shane Taylor is up next. Nice hard-hitting affair. The most fun of the match outside of the wrestling, which is good. Shane Taylor gives some insane suplex, hits like a goddamn truck. Swerve just being coolest goddamn man that's ever lived. Is the members of the infantry, who are kind of Shane Taylor's boys, and Prince Nana are at ringside with a bottle of Hennessy and money, and they're gambling on the results of on who's gonna win. And they go, do anyone else want action on this? And at one point, Tony Schiavone comes over with a stack of money. He's like, yeah, I got action on this. And they all start getting in on the gambling.
That was so cool.
It was very funny. It was. It's nice when Collision feels like a show where you could have really fun wrestling, but they're also going to put some of the more lighthearted stuff in. At the end of it, you get a big win for Swerve, hitting a big stomp. I think he hit one on the apron and then hit one on the inside of the ring as well, which goes to your 3 count.
Oh, yeah, that one on the apron looked rough.
Yeah. I love the stomp.
Does Swerve get the fan? Do we get the fan outs for Swerve?
Swerve's not this it's different. I'm not, this is the weirdest sentence that's going to come out of my mouth. I'm not gay for Swerve. He's just like, but he's so goddamn cool. Like, you know when you see someone and they're just like, when you talk about people having it, he has all of it.
Tons of it?
So, like, he couldn't get rid of it if he wanted to. Like, It's just, like, he's just so damn cool, and, like, everything looks effortless. Like, I don't want to be with Swerve. I want to be Swerve.
So well put. Yes.
I'm the wrong age, ethnicity, hair type, but goddamn do I wish it were otherwise.
Yeah.
We get a nice promo next from Timeless Tony Storm, obviously. Comes out and says, Mercedes Moné, I'm disappointed in you. 3 weeks ago, you shook my hand and said we would have the biggest women's match of all time. Since then, you've been eating steak, playing on your telephone, and trying to kiss me. Is that all I am to you? Another trophy for your shelf. And then I think in a deliberate bit back to what John did on the other show, very much says, I am not some other motherfucker. I'm timeless Tony Storm. I am the AEW Women's World Champion. And if you make one mistake, I'm going to eat you alive. It is fantastic. Oh, and then obviously in all of her bravado, I sincerely believe you are the greatest of all time. I am not, nor was I ever meant to be. I am a manic, neurotic, erotic, sexually questionable, constantly sweating, bottom-heavy, transatlantic whore. Oh, it's great. It's somehow the character keeps evolving and getting more insane, but justifiably insane. God bless Tony Storm.
Yeah,
she can do no
Tony
wrong
Storm.
in my eyes. We get another... Oh, do you have something about it? Sorry, do you want to say something?
Oh, she drove home that point that Mercedes has performed in Madison Square Garden, Wembley Stadium, the Tokyo Dome, and Arena Mexico. And then for where I am in the world right now, she goes, oh, I was the last person to perform in the Wodonga Sports and Leisure Centre before it was closed down due to a cockroach infestation. Now, the Wodonga Sports and Leisure Centre just happens to be like 3 streets away from my house. It is and has been reopened. Just
got
for
rid
the
of them?
record.
That's good. I'm glad they got rid of the roaches.
It's
That's great.
completely
Man.
fine now. Everything's clean. Everything's cool. It's open for business. I'd love for there to be more wrestling shows there. There has not been one in many, many, many years in this part of the world, just because of where we're located. So I will put up on our Twitter and Instagram at GrapChats a bit of footage, a bit of imagery of the Wodonga Sports and Leisure Centre.
Hell yeah!
Just for just so you know, this now legendary location in the world of wrestling.
Tag Tony in it; she'll probably love it.
Yeah. Oh, that was the plan.
Hell yeah! Next up, we have another mixed tag match similar to last week. We have the MXM collection of Mason and Mansoor, as well as Taya Valkyrie versus Mark Briscoe, Willow Nightingale, and apparently the newest member of the conglomeration, Hologram. So Hologram comes in as well. It is
breathe new life into the conglomeration.
Why
Yay!
not? It is another all fun one. Mason and Mansoor are so funny. Like Taya Valkyrie is doing her best like comedy spots. Like it's all very, very silly. Hologram gets this perfectly executed airplane spin into the portal bomb, and then you get Mark Briscoe off the top with the froggy bow. It's fantastic. It's fun. It gets Willow Nightingale on my screen. I will never be upset and sad about it. Then you have a Chris Statlander backstage who's been having these kind of run-ins with Wheeler Yuta when they both used to be in the Best Friends, who's trying to kind of like tempt her into it to be like, come on, you have to be joining again. You have to be joining again. What are you going to do? She kind of like pushes Yuta away and tells him to kind of like bugger off. And then when she turns around, she walks directly into Jon Moxley, who's standing right there. And you have Chris Statlander kind of sell what Mox, like the kind of terror he's brought to AEW with like handshake and stand there. And you have this like quiet moment of like Mox kind of like seemingly intense and then kind of like bends down, hands her phone back and says, don't ever let anybody tell you who you are or what you're worth, and then leaves. I like the idea that Chris has tried to be nice to Willow and it hasn't resulted well. And while she's in this low place, the Death Riders have gone like, we can manipulate that one. We can take that one. We can do this. Next up is Tony Schiavone's in the ring. Don Callis is in there. And then the Continental Champion, Kazuchika Okada, comes out there. They're kind of all, talking about how great they're going to be, how great Okada is. Don Callis declares him the greatest wrestler in the history of New Japan. Better than anyone, better than Inoki, better than Ricky Dozan. They show the footage of attacking Kenny Omega, how we're going to destroyed him. We've destroyed you. You don't have any friends left. Mark Briscoe comes out and says, like, I'm still his friend and I'm not his only friend. which prompts the return of Kota Ibushi, who shows up looking ripped.
Crazy ripped.
He looks in crazy good shape. Our stupid himbo is back. If Kota Ibushi really has embraced modern medicine, there's no stopping him. But yes, Kenny's old tag team partner from the Golden Lovers in Japan storms to the ring, confronts them, exchanges blows with Okada, and kind of clears him out. And apparently, he is looking for a fight, and he will be showing up next week for Dynamite. Oh man, I hope Kota's back at full strength and full run, because goddamn, that'll be great. That would be so great.
So good.
There's a kind of chaotic segment next that's kind of like this brawl between Big Bill and Brian Keith and the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry and JD Drake. It kind of like spills out all of this like chaos into the ring. It kind of goes like back and forth all over the goddamn thing. At one point, eventually, JD Drake is slammed into the steps, and then Big Bill gives this like this held choke slam onto Anthony Henry on a bunch of chairs. It looks brutal.
Those chairs did not give an inch.
Nope.
Anthony Henry went on them, not through them.
And then afterwards, Christian came out with his with the full patriarchy and said that him and Nick Wayne, him and his prodigal son, they should be working together, the first ever father-son tag team champions. We're going to be going for those tag team titles. You know, Big Bill and Brian Keith are saying you're going to have, I don't think that's going to be happening. And they kind of have their back and forth. So we might be setting up matches coming up there as well. We get a quick kind of bit backstage as well with increasing tensions between Anthony Bowens and Daddy Ass, who looks like he's just like kind of getting slowly more frustrated with not being able to kind of execute the way that he wants to. So we might have a split up coming there. Jet Speed, Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey take on the Gates of Agony in a very, very fun little tag team extravaganza. Our faces get the pinfall on that one, which seems to keep furthering them towards possible tag team title match as well. And then the finale is the 8-woman tag match of Ty J, Thunder Rosa, and Queen Aminata versus Athena, Tekla, Megan Bayne, and Penelope Ford. This is fantastic. It's very, very fun. Everyone gets their shit in. Queen Aminata continues to just be stiff as balls. And same with Athena, actually, which is just, has been, if you haven't seen her on ROH recently or anything around, very, very violent.
She hits hard.
She hits hard. ROH television champion Red Velvet comes out and kind of causes some interference, which allows Athena to hit Thunder Rosa with the championship belt and secure the victory there. We do also get at some point during this match, it's not specified, but it is written, it's during this match and it is written in pink font. It says there will be a casino gauntlet match at All In. I'm hoping that means it will be a women's casino gauntlet match at All In, which would be very, very fun. Get as many ladies in that goddamn show as we can. Give them all the time in the universe, please. But yeah, there is kind of all these rivalries going on within this one match between Ty J and Megabad, between Tekla and Queen Aminata, and between Athena and Thunder Rosa, who are coming up to a title match for the ROH women's title at the minute as well. And yeah, it's a good one. It's one worth watching because everyone goes balls to the goddamn wall, despite the fact they don't have any balls. And that was all of Collision, and I guess all of the wrestling for this week.
Yeah. I noticed, do you think AEW sort of really hasn't known what to do with Thunder Rosa since she came back from injury? Because you look at where she was right before she got injured, and then as she's come back.
I think it feels like one of those ones where like the division kind of passed her by, you know what I mean? In the same way that it's sort of, not to the same extent, but the same way it did with Britt Baker, where like it felt like all these new people are there to be built upon, as well as this deepening kind of game from Willow Nightingale and from Chris Statlander and those kinds of things. So
it's just real unfortunate, I think. Because
it is. I loved Thunder Rosa's first run. I really, really did when she took the title off Britt Baker. I really enjoyed Thunder Rosa. So, yeah, like her and Athena should absolutely tear it down. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
Can't be mad about that. Can't be mad about that. Can I recommend you a match?
Oh, it feels like it's time.
Can I recommend you a match?
It feels like it's time, young Matthew. It's time for Matty's YouTube pick of the week. What have we got, Matthew?
I decided to apparently go back to 2005 again, and pick a match from 2005 because they're all very good.
Yeah, it was a red hot year.
This was Vengeance 2005. This is at the time World Heavyweight Champion Batista versus Triple H, Hell in a Cell. It might be one of my favorite Cell matches. It's probably right up there. It's very, very good. I don't think it gets nearly enough shine that it should. This is Batista and Triple H's like third straight main event because Batista won the belt at Mania. Then he retained it in a rematch at Backlash. And then they did this kind of Triple H is like, you want to get rid of me once and for all, it has to be Hell in a Cell. At that point, Triple H was undefeated in Hell in a Cell. He'd never lost a match within those walls. And yeah, it's brutal. Like there's the chair wrapped in barbed wire, there's the sledgehammer, there's like, they both bleed buckets. It is a properly brutal affair, fitting of the stipulation. It wasn't at a time when, hey, we have a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell, so I guess we better put on some cell matches. It was like, it was a proper feud ender. And it felt very much like the culmination of this long feud that was like the proving ground for Dave Batista to kind of launch him into like proper main event. But yeah, and the finish is really, really fun. I will not spoil it, but it is tense right into the very, very last second until trigger gets pulled. Yeah, oh my god, they take some bumps on steel stairs. I think there's like one spine buster on the bottom half of the stairs, not the top half, like the bottom, the thick base part. It looks like you hear somebody's body go splat. Like it's just this awful thud.
Yeah, it gets that same reaction as the Drew McIntyre stair bump from the Cell match with Punk.
Oh, that was bad too. That was a bad one.
Yeah, it's that same sort of, oh, that's not meant to land that way.
But yeah, this is wrestling at its closest to like, if like Kobashi versus Joe was a Western, and if the Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Championship is comedy, this is closer to like a blood feud. It's not like a horror movie because it's not spooky, but this is like a proper gritty action movie. This is like your John McClane having to crawl over glass to fight the bad guys. Like this is a proper kind of brutal action movie where you're not sure if your hero is going to survive right down to the last second just for the sheer amount of punishment. It's really, really fun. If that is your thing, like if you don't like blood, not for you. If you don't like plunder, not for you. If you want your wrestling to be a little bit faster and flippier, these are two very big guys. It's not for you. But if you want to watch something that felt like, you know, one of these guys is gonna like, this has to end because they're gonna get brutalized by the end of this career-shortening match, then yeah, it's a fun one. And yes, I thoroughly recommend. Mm-hmm. I know, right? It's one of those ones when you think about it, you're like, was good, wasn't it? Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm. And I might just actually go and watch it right now, because that brings us to the end of episode 4 of the GrapChats Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to give us a like and a subscribe and a comment and all that good shit. You know what I talk about. It's YouTube. It's been around for a while. But on behalf of Matty, I am your host. I am Steve Willis, and you are loved, and I will see you next time.
Bye, Nan.